We've been asked this question: how does desire connect with karma? If you're interested in this topic, be sure to watch the video until the end. In case you don't know me, my name is Laura. You will see me throughout this entire video. My husband is behind the camera. He's recording this video.
The guy with the sexy voice.
There you have it. So now, we're going to ask the question of my husband.
You don't agree with my voice. I'm like, oh boy.
It's a matter of
you just
perspective.
jumped right over that. Like
It's a matter of perspective. We talk about this all the time.
Thank you, hon, for your
What I think is sexy may not be to someone else. So they might find your voices.
My perspective. I think you should have agreed since you're my wife. You're like, forget it. Let's move on. Anyway, go ahead.
Trying to keep our videos neutral. All right. So how does desire connect to our karma?
Excellent point.
It's a point. It's a question.
Right, but it's an excellent question, I guess.
Okay.
Thanks for the correction. And that's because we've seen this so many times where someone has certain desires, certain goals, where they feel that things should be a certain way. And so that it doesn't matter what guidance is given to them, how many videos they watch, how many times we explain things to them, they still see things that way that they believe it should be. That's how desire affects karma. Because see, no matter what happens, let's say for example, there's a couple,
Okay.
married or not, but you know,
Okay, there's a
together.
couple.
They're living together, whether married or not married.
Okay.
And one party of the couple feels that, and we've seen this with many couples, so this is not something, there'll probably be some couples watching that they're talking about me. No, they're not talking about you, because this is a common thing that happens, right?
This is general.
Exactly.
Not about anyone in specific or particular.
Right, but we've seen it with many individuals.
We have.
So many couples, where there's this, I'd say, unrest in the relationship, right? For using a neutral term, right? Some unrest. Because normally, I use the word unrest because if you talk to one person, they'll blame the other person. And so I don't want to, we don't deal with that. That's why I don't like knowing anybody's story. Because what folks will start to understand is it has nothing to do with your perspective, but yet still has everything to do with your perspective. And that's why for us, it's not important what your story is. What's important is that you understand the guidance you're getting, you understand the teachings, and you implement it, and then you'll see how things turn out. Bottom line, the teachings are neutral. The teachings don't pick sides, and so we don't pick sides either. After saying all that, so here's a couple, right? And they're not getting along. Either one is not getting along. Now, I'm putting on both, right? As one is not getting along with the other, even though when you talk to one, they'll say, well, this person hates me, or they don't want me around. We don't get along.
Right.
And we might say, okay, here's some tools, use these tools. Now, the reason why we give the tools is because we know that these tools will raise the frequency in the environment, right?
Right.
Where then, whatever needs to happen will happen. Whatever that is. We don't know what that is unless it is shown to me, what normally is not shown to me, correct?
Right.
So whatever it is that needs to happen will happen from the spiritual realm. Meaning, whatever needs to happen will be for the greatest good of everyone involved. Especially when there are kids involved. I'm sure that anyone that has a family, they're concerned about their family.
Right.
So then, normally they'll make a decision that they truly believe is for the best interest of who?
Usually the kids when they have children.
And them, right?
Right.
Who cares about the other person?
Mm-hmm.
You know, they're trouble anyway. They're the ones that's causing this whole thing.
In their perspective.
Bingo. No, that's
Right.
what we're going by. Exactly.
Right.
Thank you. All right? Based on the spiritual laws, is that for the best interest of everybody involved?
Well, no, because you're excluding someone.
Exactly. That's where the desire comes in. The desire of the person is this: I want to get out of this mess. This is not healthy for me. This is not healthy for my kids. We're including kids now to make it more dramatic, right?
Right,
So
right.
it's not just two people.
Uh-huh.
You know, let's make it really.
Let's beef it up.
It's a thriller.
Yes.
So you have kids, 9 kids, not just one, right? A lot of kids.
Wow.
Right? And
We're really going for it.
yes. Okay? So now you're like, I have to protect my kids. We have to get out of here.
Mm-hmm.
Who cares about that person? And now you might not be saying that, but from the actions, that's the way it is. Well, spiritually, if you're with a balanced karma, it has to be for the highest good of everybody involved, where everybody benefits.
Right.
So if you just pick up and leave that person there, it's not for the highest good of everybody.
Mm-hmm.
So you've met your desire. Your desire has been met. You're happy. You know, what you wanted happened. And there are probably very good reasons for that, by the way. We're not saying that there are bad reasons or it's not a good idea.
Mm-hmm.
We're just trying to explain it from the spiritual realm, from the law of the universe, how it works. So because it wasn't for the highest good of everyone involved, karma is not balanced. Desire took over.
Okay.
Desire dominated. Do you follow?
I follow.
Now here's another situation.
So what will happen though? So
Well,
they've left.
right.
They
so
followed
that
their
karma-
desire.
That karma has
The
to be
karma's not balanced. So because it's not balanced, then they're going to end up in a situation like that again until it gets balanced.
Not necessarily.
Not in this lifetime, maybe another.
No, not even that.
Okay.
See, if the person has no clue, or if they have no clue, then of course they have to go through it again, right?
Mm-hmm.
In a different lifetime. Or they'll wind up in another relationship in this lifetime with the same type of person that they just left. And they have to go through the whole thing again with their kids. That's just the way it goes until
Okay.
that gets balanced. However, thanks to 190 vision, all of a sudden you're exposed to 190 vision. 190 vision says, according to the teachings, this is karma you need to balance.
Mm-hmm.
And then a person goes, oh no, I don't want to deal with that again. Not that fool. Okay, you don't have to. That's where the decrees come in. So if you notice now, we say, okay, here's a set of decrees. Say these. But depending on the decrees you're saying, you're already learning about forgiveness. You're saying the violet flame. Violet flame is helping you to burn off negativity.
Mm-hmm.
Then you start to notice something about yourself. When you think about that situation, initially you're probably feeling guilty because you expose your kids and yourself. How could you let that happen? And many people have been there.
Right.
But as you say your decrees, you say the violet flame, the effects become less. And that's when you realize, oh, it doesn't affect me as badly as it used to. That's how you know, as we have in a separate video, that the karma is being balanced. You don't have to go back into the situation. You can actually get it resolved without repeating the experience in another relationship.
Got
Now
it.
that's where the person has to be smart. You're not exposed to 190 vision. So guess what? Don't go starting a relationship until you know the karma has been balanced. That's the key.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I got it.
And as much as you might feel lonely, oh, I feel like I need a companion, I would suggest avoid it because the karma is still outstanding. There's like that debt to pay. So as much as that person might look all nice and sweet and everything, surprise, you might get involved in a relationship and before you know it, it's the same old thing. You're doing the same thing again. So doing that break, you're balancing the karma. Let the ascended masters work with you. Your kids are taken care of. You're taken care of. Because what you did because you didn't know at the time. You didn't know about how karma works, right?
Right.
You didn't really understand the laws of the universe. You did something because that's what society says you should do. That's
Got
what
it.
mass consciousness says you should do. get rid of the bum, you know, and so you're like, okay, let me get rid of this bum, you know, because that's what you knew.
All right. So what about in a situation where it might be amongst siblings or a parent and child, and not so much a relationship of a husband and wife or partner situation or anything?
What
So-
about that?
So is it the same way? Is it the same kind of thing?
As in,
As in, well, my desire is, I want to have fixed my relationship with my mother because she's been abusive to me, but I want to, and I really don't want to deal with her, but I know I want to get this karma over and done with. So do I have to go back and face my mother?
no, you never have to go back. Well, there's.
And I'm just using that as an example.
Oh yeah, she gets along great with her mom.
My mom and I are best buddies.
Practically every day, sometimes 2-3 times a day. But no.
This is
and
just an example.
And her mom is great. I mean, my mother-in-law is one of the best. So
Okay.
I wouldn't. No,
So then-
that doesn't apply here. Anyway, let's clarify something. To balance karma, you don't have to necessarily be in the presence of someone physically.
Okay.
There are some cases, rare cases, where you have to do that. Okay? And you'll know that when that comes. Most karma can be balanced long distance. Just like how we do healing long distance. Well, it's energy work, most of it. That's why we talk about the karmic board, right? Going to the karmic board by decreeing, you can take care of that. The key thing is that you shouldn't spend your time trying to figure out how to take care of it. That's why one of the things I say a lot is don't waste your time trying to pursue something.
Right.
And people misunderstand it because they think that I mean just sit around and do nothing. No, that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is, let's say for example, the example you gave, here's this individual, there's a relationship issue between the individual and
The parent.
the parent. Well, you don't need to go and try to fix that. Because it's probably fruitless to do that because they're not listening to you anyway. So what do? You say your decrees, right? Know that there's certain things being done from One Night Division to help you with that relationship. And
So then-
naturally, things will start to happen. All of a sudden, you might get a phone call, or just somehow communication starts. Well, don't get all excited and go overboard, and that's where people make the big mistake.
Right.
Because all of a sudden you're so eager to mend the relationship, your mom reaches out to you as the person that's having this relationship that has to get fixed, and you go overboard. All of a sudden you want to spend the night there and you want to spend all day there. No, just follow the hunches that you get. Let it happen naturally. You have to know that the Ascended Masters and the angels are looking out for your behalf, but not just yours, also your mom's. Remember, it has to be for the greatest good of everyone involved.
So even if the child is, an adult now, but feeling like they were the victim in the situation with their parent, and they don't want to deal with their parent at all, and they have a lot of negative feelings in that situation, that means that there's karma there that needs to be
correct.
balanced.
That's correct.
So therefore, as they use their tools, they'll be able to help balance that karma, and they should just see what happens with the relationship.
Exactly.
And it might never come together, or it might
Right.
come together in a very loving way.
And it goes back to another video. You should link that video to this one. It goes back. You're right. It goes back to that one video where we talked about that. How do you know the karma is balanced?
Right.
That's how you'll know. Because let's say, for example, it was an abusive. You feel, and it goes back to that. Right? You feel the
Right.
parent was abusive.
To your
So
perspective.
We're not saying that what you're saying is not accurate, but we're always careful about what we say because there are always multiple perspectives to a situation. So you feel that your parent was abusive. Okay, as you decree and as you use your tools, you'll start to notice that certain things start to improve. Worst case scenario, the relationship might never result in both of you coming together, spending time together.
Right.
However, you might notice that when you think about that parent, there are no more negative feelings. And you don't blame that parent for anything any longer. You actually get to understand that parent's perspective, why they behaved the way that they did, without judging. You're like, oh, I finally get it. I understand now why it's like that. When you get to that point, you know that karma is balanced. And it's not your desire that's overriding anything anymore. See, when you're calling your parent an abusive parent or any other label, right? You know that you're judging. And that's the bottom line. The moment you put a label on somebody, you're judging. For example, I always tell you how beautiful you are. You are beautiful, but that's judging, right? How do I know you're beautiful?
That's your perspective.
And not only that, but I have to be comparing you to somebody else.
Right.
Isn't that judging?
That is a form of judging.
Now,
yes.
we call it comparing,
Uh-huh.
but it's judging. It's, oh, well, my wife is more beautiful than that one. I'm not saying the other one is ugly. She's just not beautiful like you. Let her deal with it. Right? But that's judging. Now, it's not judging in a negative way, as in I'm putting the other person down. Mm-hmm. But when you start saying, so that's comparing. When we're not putting somebody down, it's comparing. That's the point I want to make.
Okay.
The moment it becomes where, oh, well, you're more beautiful than that ugly person over there. She's just real ugly.
Yes.
That's not comparing anymore.
That's judging.
That's judging. See, that's a label, right?
Right.
Because I'm saying the person is ugly.
Mm-hmm.
While in comparing, I would say, oh, you're more beautiful. See, I'm not saying the other one is ugly. One is just, you're both beautiful. One is just more beautiful than the other one.
Got it.
Now, if we say my parents were abusive, my parents were mean, they were terrible,
Mm-hmm.
they never listened to me, it's all negative.
Right.
So we're judging at that point.
Mm-hmm.
The moment those terms are not positive or they're negative, there's still karma there. Right?
Got it.
If you think about your parents and then negative situations come up, negative scenes pop up, and you feel upset, angry, frustrated, karma still has to be balanced. So what do? Use your tools.
Right.
Just decree, use the tools you've been given,
Mm-hmm.
and that's how you deal with it. Don't try and say, well, let me call my parents now. Let me try to patch this. Don't do
Let
that.
me see how this works this time around.
You'll just frustrate yourself even more.
Mm-hmm.
Just know that the Ascended Masters and the angels are working on your behalf and their behalf. It's not just your desire. Meaning you might say, I want to fix this, but maybe they're not ready to fix it yet.
Mm-hmm.
That's that desire thing we're talking about.
Right.
And now because they're not ready and you want to do something about it, and they say, well, no, you get mad, and now they become even worse parents because they're not interested in helping you get over whatever it is.
And then the karma's still there.
It gets worse, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's where the desire comes in. You're in a relationship, you're married or you're not married, but you're in a relationship, and you feel that you need to get out of that relationship, for whatever your reasons are,
Mm-hmm.
right? And then we say, like, well, how about you just decree and let the angels handle it? No, this is getting worse.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even feel like we're making progress. Notice, what are the terms? I don't feel.
Yes.
So then it's just your perspective.
Right.
That's your desire to do something that you want to do, instead of allowing the Ascended Masters and God to do what they know is right for you and for anyone else involved in that relationship, your kids, the other person. See, we should always act out of love, knowing that whatever we do, we want the best for everybody involved. But if we just keep insisting that it has to be our way, then how is that love?
It's not.
How is that loving the other person?
It's not. It's not even looking out for the other person. It's just all
Exactly.
focused on yourself. It's very selfish.
That's desire versus karma.
Got
So
it.
the more we stick with our desire, the less karma we balance.
Wonderful. Thank you for covering this topic with us.
You are welcome.
We'll see you in the next video.
Remember to subscribe and like this video. Join the Facebook group 190 Vision to connect with others on the same journey. Get help by visiting our website 190vision.com. Support the 190 Vision mission by clicking on the donate button, which is at the bottom of each page of our website.